Жизнью. Это не бегать через болью, сказал мой отец. До того, как он встретил свой конец от фашистов. Раньше я думал, что понял. Сейчас при заполнении с волками.
Early in the day, after we had spent a morning digging trenches, we were given a simple enough task. We had heard reports of a partisan band in the woods, just beyond our lines, who had done good work in fighting the Hitlerites across the border. We were ordered to bring them some rations. Our rations, that their work might continue. We filled a crate with bread, salt, and butter, vegetables, and a barrel with plenty of piping hot stew. We didn't bring much ammunition with us. Our sergeant didn't even bring his rifle. He was satisfied that his pistol would be sufficient for the task ahead. We hadn't seen the enemy for months, after all, and it was a long march to the meeting point. Some old trenches, long abandoned from the last war. We milled about for a while, digging up spent casings and other relics from the days of the Tsar, when we heard a rustling in the woods. A group was coming closer and made little attempt to hide it. Our sergeant shouted out. We assumed they were the partisans, and that's when the first smoke grenade popped. And then another, and another. Soon we could even see the clearing before the woods. Our sergeant shouted again, imploring the unseen force to identify themselves. By this point we had already taken what pitiful defensive positions we could. Then the gunfire started. We tried to hold our position for a short time, but we never had a chance at fending them off. The fascists must have had a full platoon, and we were but 4 men, little armed and short on ammunition. And so we ran, back to the tree line behind us as fast as we could go. We took up another defensive position along the path, but through our panting breaths it soon became obvious that the Germans were not following. They were more interested in the food that we had abandoned. I don't know what happened to the partisans. Some men back at camp suspected treason, that they'd betrayed us. How else would the invaders have known about the meetup? Others still suspected that they were killed in the night. Or worse. Either way, a reprisal was needed, and we were soon ordered on a patrol to find our missing partisans, and if we encountered the fascists, to engage and destroy them. As a scout, I was ordered ahead of the column to use my scope and ensure the way was clear for our advance. As we came to a dirt road out of the woods, I was ordered to cross, to better see down the path ahead. I was hesitant, but I followed my orders. I crossed the road. By God's mercy, I made it across somehow. With a lull in the fighting, we were able to advance a short way, and I found myself lying with the junior sergeant. To test the way, he took off his ushanka, raised it into the air. It was immediately met with machine gun fire. We were flanked, outnumbered, exposed. Our only choice was to retreat. The junior sergeant provided some covering fire for me as I ran back. It was a long march back to camp that day. Later, I found myself back in the trenches, along again with that same junior sergeant. He was a good-tempered man. He shared some food with me, told me some of his old stories. I was glad for the company. It was damned cold in that hole, looking out at a field of nothing, behind a cage of wire. Eventually, the German attack came, as we expected. The junior sergeant first spotted the skulking gray shadow of a machine gunner moving just within the tree line. He gave the command, and I opened the board again. We exchanged fire with them for a short time. We should have seen what they were doing. Such half-hearted bursts coming through their tree line. We only saw too late that the majority of the fascists had been flanking around our lines, through the area where the woods were thickest. It wasn't long before we were taken, rippled with fire from a fascist's machine pistol.
Темная ночь, только пули свистят по степи, только ветер гудит в проводах, тускло звезды мерцают. В темную ночь ты, любимая, знаю, не спишь, и у детской кровати тайком ты слезу утираешь. Как я люблю глубину твоих ласковых глаз, как я хочу к ним прижаться сейчас губами. Темная ночь разделяет, любимая, нас, и тревожная черная степь пролегла между нами.